Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And where are we this week?
This week we are in the Black Hills of South Dakota in the southwest corner.
And we're going to have a fun week.
We got lots of locations planned, and it's all new to us, so we're going to have to do a little reconnaissance as we go.
So we hope...
Well, we've taken a drive up the Needles Highway through Custer State Park, and we're at a viewpoint that's for the Cathedral Spires. Now this is east of where the Cathedral Spires trailhead is, but this seems to have some excellent viewpoints. So we're going to take a look around here, see if we can find a good composition that works with this lighting, and show you what we get. So I've just set up my first shot using my standard 24-105 kit lens, and I'm working on capturing these spires in the distance, the cathedral spires. I've used the smaller lens because I'm setting up so that a couple of the evergreen trees are framing the spires. You can see two taller trees, one on the left and one on the right. The difficulty is that there's quite a range of dynamic light for this picture because the spires are partially shadowed based on the sun's angle and partially really bright. We're here in the morning. It's a couple hours after sunrise. We needed the sun to get around some mountain peaks, so we didn't get here too early. And so now we have the slightly harsher light on the exposed sides, and the sun's not quite far rotated around to eliminate the shadows. So it's quite a bit of dynamic range in here. Here on the back of the camera, I've pulled up my histogram to take a look at the lighting in my picture, and you can see that all the data falls between the left and the right side. So if I have some overexposed or slightly brighter areas in the picture, I can take care of those in my software, or if I've got some shadows, I can enhance them a little bit and reduce the darkness of the shadows. So making sure that your data falls within the left and right side on the histogram is a good indication that you've captured all the information in that photo, and you can do a little bit of dodging and burning in your software to reduce the contrast.
So this morning we're photographing the spires out there, and I've broken out the 100-400 zoom lens. I put my warming polarizer on the front, and warming polarizer is absolutely critical today because the sky is quite bleached out behind the pinnacles. So with the polarizer on and my 100-400 lens, I'm shooting actually at about 125 millimeters right at the moment. And the challenge this morning in terms of getting a pleasing picture is to try to capture the spires with some interest around the spires that kind of draws you in to the middle of the picture. And one of the challenges is that we have no clouds, no white puffy clouds, which usually makes that job pretty easy. So consequently, we're trying to work with the pine trees and use the pine trees to kind of give a pleasing frame to the pinnacles. And that's what I'm doing here, and I'll show you on the back of my screen. I hope that'll actually come out. So what I'm doing is using these pine trees here on the left and also over here on the right to create a bit of a frame. Now, one of the things that's a bit of a challenge when doing that is that you do not want that little bough right there to intersect with the pinnacles. So I'm having to move the camera back and forth on the tripod here in order to get those little boughs out of the shot. But otherwise it's a pretty straightforward shot. I'm actually using a fairly high f-stop to slow the camera down just a little bit. I'm on aperture priority, and probably I'm going to be a third of a stop dark when I set all this up. So let's take a couple photographs. Something I forgot to mention is that I'm also using the camera in a portrait orientation, and I suspect that what I'll end up doing is cropping some of the bottom off this picture and some of the top off this picture, and it'll come to either a 4x5 or maybe a 1x1 crop by the time I'm finished. I will also probably take out a little bit of the rock that's over here on the left hand side, and in fact I'll probably focus in a little bit more and focus out a little bit more to see if I can get a little bit more concentrated focus right down the center into the pinnacles in the middle.
While you're out doing photography, you have to be very quiet. And then when you are skulking about looking at wildlife, you might run across the photographer YouTuberius out in the wilds. If we're very quiet, we might be able to sneak up on the photographer YouTuberius. Oh, he's running away. Where is he going? And who's here?
It's Craig Nason.
Hello, Craig, and with you is
my wife, Shelley.
Shelley.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today. We're actually traveling with Craig and Shelley this week, and they're helping us discover all these great places in the Black Hills.
Yep. It's fun.
And it's a beautiful
It's
day.
beautiful. Wish there were some clouds to play with in the sky, but
Yeah.
don't get everything that we want when we're here, so.
Maybe better spots later on today.
Probably.
Maybe.
So I've made some changes on my camera, switched to my 70-200 lens to get a different perspective on the spires. And I've also changed from a landscape to a portrait orientation. And at this point, what I've done is eliminated some of those original trees that were framing my shot. And now on the back of my camera, you can see there's still some trees in my photo, but they're not higher than the spire now. So rather than framing them, they're leaving the spires to be the main focus. Got lots of greenery in the bottom, and that will probably get a little bit cropped down once we develop the picture, because that's kind of overwhelming compared to the spires that are in the picture. But that's my composition for this go-round.
So Corinne and I are finishing up here at our shoot at the Pinnacles. It was a pretty spot, but the environmental conditions really aren't changing, and it's kind of a bright blue sky shot today, so it's probably time to move on. So what were your thoughts on the shot, Corinne?
Yeah, there were a few different compositions to try. I did landscape and portrait, and they were nice, some deep shadows, so it was going to be very contrasty, but we'll see how they turn out.
Yeah, I took a little different approach. I went with the focusing in really closely onto the pinnacles, just making the pinnacles essentially the shot. And then later on trying to frame the pinnacles with the pine trees to kind of give them some interest around the pinnacles at the same time. Again, you know, they're kind of lovely shots, but really without some light in the sky or a little bit more interest in the sky, they're pretty basic shots.
Yeah, interest being clouds, but
Yeah.
it's a bright blue sky day at the moment after a terrible sunset last night where we got rained out by thunder showers.
So yeah, it's a much nicer day than it was yesterday afternoon, so we're thankful for that anyway.
Well, we're going to move on to some other locations here in the Black Hills.
Take care and we'll talk to you soon. Hi folks, well we sure hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, we hope you'll consider subscribing. That'll help us out a lot, and we appreciate everyone who has subscribed.
And as always, if you hit that little bell button, you'll know when we release new videos.
And we love to hear from you or hear if you have questions, so put any comments or questions in the comment section below and we'll do our best to respond as soon as possible.
Take care and bye for now.
Bye for now.